Chapter 1 911 Morning. If I get teary eyed, I think I'm pretty grounded and solid with it, but this is my first time reading it after a few months, and I've done extensive processing and digesting and healing. But if I get a little teary eyed, just don't worry, I'm good. Okay, 911 Morning. I screamed, Samantha, call 911 instantly. The fear, the overwhelming desperation filled my being. I tried to feign calmness to help my mother get up, yet I was trembling. I asked her to turn over, for I wanted to see her face. Yet, in this very low yet riddled in pain tone, she answered me, I can't move. My body, my head hurts. The worst possibilities came to mind. She's paralyzed. She's dying. My daughter then tells me, Don't move her. The paramedics are saying not to move her. More horror comes over me. Damn it. I know that protocol. What was I thinking? I'm not thinking. At this point, I had mustered the ability to flip her over and sit her up a bit. I can hear my daughter is off the phone, and I ask her to pass me towels so I can cover her, as I know the paramedics and firefighters are on their way. I have now flipped the switch within me. I am fully in charge and comforting her as she is disoriented, yet she is not crying or anything. I feel it will just be a nasty fall. I started advising her that the paramedics are on their way, so she shouldn't be startled when a group of men enter the bathroom. They will be here to help us. I repeat that a few times to ensure she isn't surprised and is aware of what is happening to some extent. It must have been maybe 2 minutes when I heard the fire engine stop outside, and now they will be coming any second. Some deeper form of relief comes over me. They come in and immediately start assessing her before they move her. They have her squeeze their hands, wiggle her toes, check out her pupils, and a few other details. I feel relieved to see she can do all that they are asking of her. At this point, the firefighter is asking me to let him get behind her so they can lift her. I realize they need space and they are the professionals. So I quickly exit the bathroom to give them room. I step into my living room and immediately call my brother, as we will not be able to meet him as we had planned. As I am standing on my cell, I see through my window the engine and the ambulance. If my sister drives by and sees the scene, she will worry. So let me call her and let her know all is well. Yet I want to make sure she is okay. She is in half asleep as I tell her. She is half asleep as I tell her, and I try to reassure her. There is nothing to worry about. I will simply have her seen to make sure that all is well. The paramedics have questions, so I tell her I have to let her go. As I answer their questions, she swarms in, out of breath, and having just woken up, a bit startled. For reference, I probably should add this on the book. She lives just within the same apartment complex. She starts to talk to my mom and ask her if she's okay. I, with a bit of bite, tell her she doesn't need nervousness. She needs us to be calm for her to feel safe. My mom has had emotional breakdowns in the past, and my sister, though loving and calming, can get anxious. I've always been nurturing to both when that has happened. I believe my sister is a bit taken aback by my tone. I only ever talk to her in love, or at least I like to think so. She says, smiling and with a bit of a laugh to me and the firefighters in the hallway, I am calm. What I am is out of breath for running over here. In that moment, I am self aware of my defensiveness. I smile back. Okay, yeah, I get it. I just want my mom to see us strong so she can have comfort. All is okay. In that exchange, I made a mental note. My nerves are on high. Breathe and calm down, Raquel. As they finish assessing her, they tell us she is well, from what they can see. However, they recommend we have her seen at our local hospital for any possible internal bleeding or such. They can transport her there, and one of us can ride with her. I immediately say yes and confirm I will be riding with her. Again, I am aware that I am being controlling, very controlling. Yet I quickly think I don't have little kids, so I am the best fit to go with her. My sister immediately confirms that yes, I will be the one riding with my mom. The firefighters get ready to lift her and ask the paramedics to bring in the gurney. I rush to my bedroom with my sweet sister right behind me to help me get dressed, as I'm in my onesie pajamas. We discuss logistical details and what she will do to obtain the medical card number for me and so forth. Once I am dressed and step out of my room, I see them wheeling my mother out and I follow suit. In that moment, I go blank. I don't know why, but it's as if I can't recollect seeing her. It's as if I can recollect seeing her in the gurney as I write. I only know that the paramedics are talking to each other and asking me if I want to ride in the back or in the front. I answer them whatever they see best. I then remember going over the final details with my sister, telling her not to worry. I would keep her informed of everything that was happening. I make it up to the front of the paramedic van, and I'm in some form out of body experience. I am haunted, yet can't pinpoint why. I am so out of sorts. If my mama is fine and now we are going to get further confirmation. Oh, sorry. I am in some form out of a body experience. I'm haunted, yet I can't pinpoint why. I'm out of sorts if my mama is fine, and now we are going to get further confirmation. As we drive away, tears just keep streaming down my cheeks. I am coaching myself to get it together. My mom needs me strong and level headed. I can hear her talking up a storm and even flirting with her paramedic. Later in the hospital, once they left us installed in the room, as they walked away and closed the curtain, my mom said with a chuckle, Está guapo. He said with what I could detect was a smile on his face. I understood that. I said, Yes, Mama, está guapo. He was indeed handsome, and yet that was the last thing on my mind. However, for my mom, that was her focus. Laugh out loud. She kept inviting him to come over and have dinner at our house, this woman. Though not the train of thought I was on, this was actually comforting, for it had me observe that she was being her usual self. We quickly got a CT scan, x rays, and blood work. My sister was texting me, letting me know she would be there after leaving her kids set with breakfast. She was asking if I needed anything coffee, food, my toothbrush, since I possibly hadn't brushed my teeth. That is my beautiful mommy sister, thinking of all the possible details. I kept responding no to everything. I was fine, maybe just a water bottle. Truth was, I was just trying to stay shut down and wanted her to leave us alone so that I could see my inner resources to keep it together. I was texting her and my other siblings play by play of every test and so forth. I kept telling myself I was focused until the medics had ruled out that my mom was okay. Yet something told me this was bigger than my mom's fall. Something in me wanted to wail and sob desperately. And yet I couldn't. I was frozen. As we were there, I got a call from a close friend. He shares how he feels off and is low key struggling. I ask a few questions to ensure all is well, and then share how it's a new moon and a solar eclipse and how he is very in tune with nature, so his nervous system is probably being responsive to nature. I instantly heard him calm a bit. It obviously resonated for him. I tell him I'm actually at the hospital with my mom. However, I will call him later to go in depth. He quickly responds with well wishes. I notice I am breathing intentionally to release stress. Around this time, my sister shows up with coffee and an apple pie. They have just cleared my mom's scans and there is no internal bleeding or anything of the like. So I tell my sister to give the apple pie to her as she is hungry. Right as she is doing that, the nurse comes in with graham crackers and applesauce, as she knows my mom is hungry. As I sit there, I receive a text from another close friend asking if I can talk for 10 minutes. Being that I don't even have my work cell on me and I am now on my second call of someone being in distress, definitely something in the air. I asked my sister, "Do you mind if I take a call for 10 minutes?" She smiled and said, "No, not at all." I had seen a group text from this person come in on my sister's phone, so I knew this person had already asked for prayers and had a vague idea that they were struggling with something. I texted back that I was available to talk, and within seconds, the call came through. I could hear my friend crying, and so I proceeded to let her know I was sorry she was struggling. Once I centered her, I started not necessarily coaching her, but guiding her to understand her feelings and why she was upset. As everything connected and started making sense, and awareness of deeper underlying issues came to the forefront, she rerouted and grounded to an extent. I had now been on my phone for about 25 minutes. I glanced over at my sister and mom, my sister attending to her with such tenderness. She caught my glance and smiled with a bit of a sigh. Later that night, my sister stopped by my house, and during a conversation with my daughter and me, she shared how she knew I was struggling. She knows me very well and knows me to be a grounding force. Yet she could observe I was not okay. She shared how, when she was feeding my mom and seeing me on my phone counseling this person, all she could think was, "That's my sister. She's going through her own thing, yet here she is for others." I laughed and said, "Well, not by choice in that moment. I had only my personal phone, and it just so happened that my very close friends were going through it today." I shared how those phone calls were a great distraction. As I guided them back to center, it gave me a sense of centeredness as well. This isn't in the book, but I always say we get what we give, right? I gave centeredness, I got centeredness. As I often claim, oh, I wrote it down here. As I often claim, we get what we give. However, even with my mom back with my brother in great spirits and not even remembering the whole ordeal, I was still out of sorts. As I shared, feeling confused and how I knew I needed to cry to release the emotions, I thought I would cry all the way back once I dropped my mom off at my brother's. Instead, I found myself feeling numb. Well, numb on the surface, but underlying, I could sense the brewing of hell. My daughter, hearing our conversation, being that we were all in the living room, chimed in. As she summarized her observations, my eyes welled up with tears. I instantly knew my daughter's observations were on the right track. I let out a few tears with minimal crying. Usually, my sister would have hugged me, but I think we both knew I needed to keep it together. For when this is released, it would be too much if I weren't ready. The brain, the mind, is a beautiful thing, especially if you're connected and in high consciousness with it. My sister left, and I continued talking to my daughter. As my baby girl broke it all down, I could see clear as day the dragon that has been activated for me to slay. I went to bed and cried so much. I say, I say activated and to be slayed because I am writing this right now, 48 hours after my mother's fall. I woke up mid sleep at 3 a.m. the night of the fall and was crying. Eventually fell back to sleep and woke up at 5:50 a.m., crying again. Writing and journaling are so clarifying and releasing. For example, it wasn't until this sitting of writing that I realized I had never looked at my mom. I never really processed or digested her being on the gurney that day. It all makes sense now why I did it. That visual would have unlocked a probable psychotic breakdown. How beautiful our minds are that they will protect us. I can sense my tears streaming down my face, and now this will be my most significant mental, spiritual, and physiological fight of freedom of past to date. When I wrote this, I had no idea what was about to happen to my brain, and that it would take 5 to 6 months to truly like release. Whew. I can sense the tears streaming down my face and know this will be my most significant mental, spiritual, and physiological fight of freedom of past to date. I have worked on my psyche, consciousness, and being for the last 22 years to achieve this. I will slay the dragon of living from survival mode. I will reign in my present day consciousness, and I will once and forever raise my little Raquelita from the torment that lives within me. As you join me on this journey, I don't know what it will unravel and unveil, yet I know I am, and we are equipped to win, equipped to transcend all that once crippled our beings. I can, I will, we can, and we will manifest that we are powerful beyond measure, here to make manifestation of God's glory within us. We are power, love, and light. That is chapter 1. Oh my gosh, reading that definitely brought tears because I can now recollect. I've cried so much in the last, look at my hair, got all messed up. Um, I've cried so much and I've released pain that was stored in my body to the extent that I went from December 25th to February 12th with a migraine nonstop. Some days I felt like screaming. Some days I did scream into my pillow. The pain was just so exorbitant. I took so many pain pills. I got ice on my head, on my neck. I literally did so much. And to be where I am today is amazing. For those of you that have worked with me in the last 10 years and I've been your coach, this is what I mean. Healing is not linear. It comes back at different times, um, in different waves. I was not expecting it to be so intense. This reminded me a lot of my SA, even though my SA took me like 5 years because I was a novice in healing and I had no guidance to heal, and just to be here and having had this be a 5, 6 month thing and to experience the joy I've been experiencing, the elation. I mean, you guys think I've understood healing before from coaching these last 10 years and the freedom that I've been able to provide so many people. Man, I don't know what's going to happen moving forward, but I know that this experience is revolutionizing everything I will do in my capacity as a healing coach, executive coach, and just basically mastering our power. And so join me for the next read, which will be Freedom from Fear, Chapter 2. Until the next one.